So my name is Toni Allman. I live in Utah, where we're having some snow right now. And I am a certified Optavia coach. And today we want to share with you about connecting as a human. So we've had some great topics as we've rolled this Love Yourself to Health challenge and shifted the focus from ourselves to others now. And what we want to talk about today is just adding to the great things that we've heard already. And in addition to what you've heard, we're going to be talking about connecting as a human. As coaches, we are the ones to share this program with others and awaken them to what's possible. And I wanted to share an example that kind of how this happened for me. So in 2018, going back a few years now, this sweet woman you see here sent me a friend request on Facebook. I recognized the name. We had grown up together, but I was closer in age to her sister than her and I were in age. So anyhow, when she sent this friend request, she also sent a message, and we just started talking and learned that she was just a few years younger than her sister that I grew up with, and she's actually closer in age to my brother. Long story short, I was impressed that she was reaching out just to connect and get to know me better. I didn't expect that. I was almost waiting for the catch, like, what do you want from me? But instead, she was just getting to know me. And I was intrigued because she had just had her 7th child that year, close to when I had my 4th. And I loved just learning more about her. And I was really engaged with her posts. She was funny, entertaining, and she had good recipes to share. So I followed closely. And one thing that I noticed was she was sharing a lot about her work as a coach. And I was seeing transformations. I was seeing the evidence of this evidence-based program, and it caught my attention. So at that time, my husband and I, that year, this was our reality. We had our 4th child, and on the outside, it looked like we were fine. Like we had it together. And in most areas, we felt like we did. What wasn't apparent on the surface, though, was what my husband was dealing with. So when we got married, I never met his parents. They had passed away before we ever got married, and quite young, I would say, in my opinion. But his mom passed away first. By the time they discovered she had cancer, it was far too late, and she died of pneumonia waiting for cancer treatment. His dad, a few years later, passed away. And hypertension was one of the contributing factors that he had. So when our first child was born, so on our first year anniversary, that year, Wade was diagnosed with sleep apnea, and he was told he would need a CPAP machine to sleep at night in order to get valuable sleep, which he wasn't getting at the time. He was also, just a few years later, the same year that our final child entered our family in 2018, he was also put on high blood pressure medicine. And I remember that year him telling me, I'm a little nervous that I'm not going to be around for our kids. And I thought, what a crazy thing for you to say. We're young. I mean, we got married later in life compared to most around here. But I just thought that was a crazy thought for him to say. But the more I thought about it, the more I understood where he was coming from, and the more he explained to me. He was just worried that he was going to end up like his parents and not be around to see our kids grow up. And that really worried him. It also worried him because he was in the military, and he had a first sergeant pull him aside and say, look, you're a hard worker, but you're not getting promoted. At least if you want my honest opinion, I feel like you're getting passed up time and time again for promotions because you're overweight, and that makes you run slower. It doesn't look good on your PT scores. It would be worth it to lose some weight. His doctor was kind of reiterating the same thing for his health. And so he wanted to make changes. We just didn't know where to begin. And ironically, I felt like I should know this because I had graduated with 2 different degrees in health, public health specifically. And I thought, I even served as a health coach at a local health department. And so I prided myself like I should know what to do, but honestly, I didn't even know where to start. And so when I was following this new friend that I had on Facebook, again, I was seeing the evidence of this evidence-based program, and it caught my attention specifically as the year went on. I followed her for months, never saying a word, never liking those posts that had anything to do with health, but following it closely. And the interesting thing about my husband is he didn't always struggle with his weight or his health. In fact, he was at a very low weight when he entered the military. He's only 5'7", and he weighed about 125 pounds when he entered the military. And so as time went on, that's when the health issues added up and physical activity levels changed. His eating habits that didn't really cause him any trouble growing up started to catch up with him as he got older. And he was a bachelor for nearly 40 years. So he ate out a lot, just eating for one. But when I reached out to his coach, finally I got the courage up in December of 2018. And I reached out to her because she had shared enough of these transformation stories on social media. And it was never like, hey, you should take a look at this. She had no idea what was going on in our life. But one thing that did catch my attention is it was more than just people reaching a healthy weight. Their lives were changing in incredible ways. Some were able to come off of medications. Others no longer needed a CPAP machine. And those things caught my attention. Those were the things that my husband was struggling with. And I wanted to help him, but I didn't know how. So I reached out to her and she connected with us. She told us about the program. First, she learned more about the 2 of us, where we were at with our health, what we wanted to accomplish. And then after she listened to that, she shared with us, how this program works and how it could fit into our life. And we were ready to go right away. So when my husband got started, it was the end of December 2018. 4 months later, he was able to go into his PT test with the most confidence he's had in years. And he was 40 pounds down, which put him at a weight that was appropriate for his height according to military standards. So that alone boosted his confidence. It improved his run time by 4 minutes. And his doctor was really impressed with the changes he had made. And he decided the high blood pressure medicine just wasn't necessary any longer because his blood pressure was in the normal range again. That was comforting. And this just had a ripple effect in many different areas of our lives. Our family, we were all eating better as a result. We were more active as a family. My husband grew up going fishing with his dad, memories that he treasures, especially now that his dad's gone. And he always wanted to do that with our kids. He just didn't have it in his energy. Like energy was spent by the time he came home from work. And one thing that I noticed is when he got to a healthy weight, he was getting up early, and he's not a morning person, but he was getting up at like 6 a.m. to take the kids fishing. And it was just cool to see this change in him, in our kids. They loved it, and they would go quite often. This also had a ripple effect on the people around him. People noticed his transformation at work specifically, and there were a lot of other people who were struggling with their health as well, that reached out to him and they asked for his help. And these were people also that we connected with through social media as well. Not all of these people you see here, and this is just a small handful of the people that reached out to us. and that we reached out to and connected the same way that our coach connected with us, in a meaningful way where we got to know them, which is what social media is really all about, is connecting with others in meaningful ways. And so one thing I wanted to leave everyone with is this scholarship that's being extended to those of you who are continuing with this challenge, which we're grateful for each of you who have stuck with this. And this is a cool opportunity to not only help yourself be more accountable, but also reach out to others like my husband and me, who maybe on the surface look like we have it all together, but you just don't understand the struggles that they're facing and how much this can change their life. My husband's retiring from the military this year, and our lives are quite different than they were 3 years ago. And we're very grateful for that. And so if you haven't seen information about this, reach out to the person who invited you to this challenge, and they can share more with you about this opportunity where you actually are eligible for a scholarship to help you help others. So thanks everyone for hopping on today. We appreciate you. We'll talk to you later.